Alrighty. On Friday, instead of finishing up some of the notes that we probably should have finished, I let you guys play that ecosystem game instead. So we do need to go back to something that was posted on Friday and finish those up. So I'm going to share my screen. And unfortunately, it's going to be note-taking again today. Hopefully tomorrow we can switch it up a little bit. There's still notes to take, but maybe I'll have you do them on your own and we'll do something else. But for right now, especially because I'm not there, we're going to go ahead and do the notes online like we have been. So under classwork for science, last week we had one post that's called Ecological Relationships Notes. It looks like a couple of you guys might have already done them, so just listen when I talk then for right now. Sorry. But we're going to go ahead and open that up. You can open the PowerPoint so that we can do the copy and pasting and then have your the notes open as well. This one, let's see. Kind of longer, so it might take us a little bit longer than we used to. So I'll give you a minute, go ahead and get that pulled up so that we can get going on it.
Is it ecological relationship notes?
Yep, the ecological relationship notes. Okay, so you can open up the PowerPoint and the Google Docs so that you can do your copy and pasting. Okay.
Miss Jones, sometimes it's harder for me to backflip in pants, but in shorts it's easier because they're loose.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay. Oh, now you're good, Phil?
One of the pictures on there is scary. It's like a big, huge cat attacking a deer.
On what?
Yeah,
on the
go back to the
PowerPoint?
slides. Yeah, go back to the slides.
Yeah. That's the right one. I think, let's see. This should be the PowerPoint.
It's on the second slide.
Yep. All right. Good. So let's go ahead and get going on it. I'm going to basically do what we have been doing, where I will go over the slides, talk about them, and give you guys about a little bit of time to copy and paste the notes over. We have not decided as the group of 6th grade teachers yet which set of notes we're going to be grading yet, so you might want to just make sure you keep up with all of them so that you're prepared for whichever one is graded. So you have your set of ecological relationship notes open with all the blanks to fill in, and then you also have your PowerPoint, and I'm going to go ahead and go to the first slide and get going on it. So ecological relationships. This means basically how the animals and plants and everything are related to each other and how they benefit or hurt each other in an environment. So first, all organisms are connected to each other in an ecosystem, some form of ecological relationship with each other. So they're always going to be related in some way. Some of them have more in-depth relationships than others. So these ecological relationships exist because of the niches, which is all of the different roles that the organisms play in the environment. Some of the organisms compete against each other for resources. So they can compete every once in a while for food. So like if it's like big cats or something like that, like multiple types of like a jaguar versus a cheetah, different types of big cats, they might fight for the same types of food sources. So that creates competition. And then finally, some organisms depend on each other to survive. So something like the clownfish and the sea anemone over here. The sea anemone is where a clownfish lives, if you think about Finding Nemo. And sea anemones will sting things if they get too close to it.
Yeah, like Nemo saying, anemone.
Exactly. So the sea anemone protects the clownfish and that's why it lives there. So they use each other to survive. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute or so to type on those ones. And again, I might go a little bit quick. Sorry if it's a little quick, but remember you have both of these and you can finish copy and pasting as you need to later.
Why are they called clownfish?
I have no idea why they are called clownfish. Sorry.
Too bad Nemo doesn't look like a Nemo. Like real life Nemo.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. And he has his little fin and then his big fin.
Yep, that would be cool. Okay, about one more minute on this one, and we're going to go to our next slide. Skylar, can you still not hear? Or are you good? Okay, well, if I said that out loud, then you should be able to hear me because I said it out loud and you answered. So I'm going to assume that you can hear me, so please be copy and pasting. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and go on to our next slide. So, more stuff about ecological relationships. Species will interact with each other when they try to occupy the same niche or if they occupy similar or overlapping niches. So remember, a niche is just the role that something plays. So if we're thinking about a plant, its role in an ecosystem is to grow and give energy and food sources to different animals. So if there are too many plants in one space, they're going to start competing and try and take over the area that the other ones are growing. Okay? These sort of interactions result in ecological relationships. Species that oppose each other, so they're opposite and they compete with each other when they occupy the same niche. Species that oppose each other form oppositional relationships, so they oppose each other, they have opposite relationships, they're trying to compete. Species interact with each other and can form a close relationship when they exist in similar or overlapping niches. In these interactions, at least one species benefits from interacting with the other one. These organisms form a symbiotic relationship. So symbiotic means that at least one of the species is going to be benefiting. They're getting good things out of interacting with something else. What's a good example of that? I don't know what the fish is called, but there's a fish that's like a tiny, tiny little fish that swims next to sharks a lot. And what they do is they swim next to the shark because they're protected by the shark. The shark doesn't eat them, and it helps clean the sharks out.
Yeah,
Skin and stuff.
they eat all the nasty stuff off the shark's teeth.
Exactly. So they help the shark by cleaning it off and stuff. And
I
then
learned that from Wildcrats.
good. And then the fish is protected and not eaten because the shark is around, and nobody's going to try and eat the little fish out of a shark's mouth. So.
Me too. And that other one thing that it shows.
That's good.
Dr. Nuts.
Okay, I'm going to give you about 2 minutes on this slide. I didn't know that, Phil. That's some good information in the chat. I like that. Okay, about 30 more seconds. Alrighty. Our next slide here talks about the different types of ecological relationships that are most important to ecosystems. So first, there's two major types of oppositional relationships. So the ones where they are in competition, they're fighting each other. The first one is competition in general, they're competing. The second one is predation, so like predators and prey. Okay? Then there are three major types of symbiotic relationships, the ones where they benefit each other. There's commensalism, mutualism, and parasitism. And we're going to go into depth about all five of these in the next couple slides. So I'll let you guys copy those ones down really quick. Do about 1 minute here. And like I said, I know I'm going a little bit quick, but you guys have access to these. You can always go back and listen, or you can always listen right now and then go back and copy and paste it all later if you need to. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and talk about competition. This occurs, so competition in general occurs when different species try to occupy the same area. So if we're looking at this picture, these are two different, well, they're probably the same, like elk or deer or whatever, but they're trying to compete for the same resource. Maybe they're trying to eat the grass around it and they get mad at each other or something, right? So they're competing for the same thing. Competition often results in species competing with each other for the same food, water, or space. Competition occurs because resources and space are limited in an ecosystem. And it can also occur between individuals of the same species, which is what I think is happening in this picture up here. It looks like it's the same species, but they're competing over something. Maybe it's the food around them, the water, or the space to live. Any of those three things can cause competition between species or in species themselves. Okay? Do about 2 minutes on this slide. Alrighty. Next slide, we're going to talk about predation, so like predators and prey. Predation in a relationship in which, or is a relationship in which one organism feeds on the other organism that lives in the same space. The organism that is eaten is called the prey. The organism that is doing the eating is called the predator. The predator-prey relationship creates a cyclical but stable change in population of the predator and the prey. So this is a very natural thing in the ecosystems. Animals have to eat. Typically, they have to eat each other. So the one being eaten is the prey, and the one doing the eating is the predator. This is a very common relationship that I think most of you guys already know about: predator-prey, right?
Can you like slow down just a little bit?
Yep, I can.
Okay.
All right, I'll stay on this slide for a few minutes, let you guys catch up. How we doing? We need another minute or so. Do about one more minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next slide here. Alrighty. So our next type of relationship is commensalism. This one, commensalism.
There's a woodpecker above me right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Commensalism is a relationship between two organisms where one of the organism benefits from the relationship, but the other one does not. But it's not hurt by the relationship either. So one of the biggest examples is a barnacle and a whale. Barnacles become mobile, so they move by attaching to the whale. In this case, then they're protected by the predators that would eat the barnacles, but the whale is not hurt by having the barnacles attached to it. They just chill there. They're safe from being eaten, and the whale just carries them places. They're not hurt. The whale is not hurt by it. So the barnacles are benefiting, but the whale is not, but it's not getting hurt either. Okay? So that's commensalism. One organism benefits, the other one does not, but the other one is not hurt either. It's just kind of like the barnacles are attached to me. Okay. Do about 2 minutes on this slide.
Can you hear him?
I can hear him, yeah.
He's like right there, right next to me.
That's pretty cool. He must not care that you're there.
No.
I'm done.
Cool. We're gonna
I
wait
still
about
need some time.
we'll wait about 1 or 2 more minutes, let people get caught up, then we'll look at the next one.
Do I turn it in since I'm done?
Yeah, if you finish up these notes, you can turn it in.
I turned to mine.
Good, awesome. Yeah, I can see it on my end that you guys are finishing it up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the next slide. This one we have mutualism. In mutualism, both of the organisms benefit from the relationship, so they both get good things out of it. Two different organisms will live together, and they are more successful than if they lived apart or on their own. So a good example of this are bees and flowers. Bees will feed on the pollen that's produced by the flower, and then the bees pollinate the flower, which helps the plant reproduce. So this bee in this picture is getting pollen from the flower. It's going to go somewhere else, and that pollen is going to be left on that other flower or plant and allow another plant to grow from that. So they both benefit. The bee gets the food from the pollen, and then the flower
Miss
gets
Jones, on the 2 sentences, because I'm still on the other one. On the 2 sentences, do we write on the 2 sentences?
Are there sentences? Let's see.
Yeah, go down. Not on
On
it's on the, that one, yeah.
what is an example of commensalism? You can copy and paste the example if you need to, because there is an example on the slide. Okay. All right, I'm going to wait about 4 minutes until 1 o'clock, and then we'll do our last slide. About 2 more minutes. And we'll look at our last slide there. Okay, good. I can see a lot of you guys turning it in. We get to look at our last slide, and then I'll give you a few minutes. That sound good? Alrighty. Oops. Oh well. Last slide here is parasitism, so like a parasite. In parasitism, one organism benefits from the relationship. That organism is called the parasite. The other organism is harmed. This organism is called the host. So the parasite uses the host for nutrients. As it does, it also harms the host at the same time. The parasite can kill the host, but not intentionally. It's not trying to. Parasite depends on the host, and if the host dies, then so does the parasite. So a good example of these are going to be things like ticks, fleas, and mosquitoes. A tick will attach to you and suck your blood, basically. They need that to survive. That's how they survive. If you die and they're still attached to you, they're going to die as well.
And
Or,
there's a
you know,
lot of them on dogs.
yeah, they do get on dogs a lot. Same with fleas.
Mhm.
And they suck the blood. Same with mosquitoes. They also suck blood. All of these things, they need your blood to survive. But if you flick them off or you get them off, they're not going to survive unless they're on you, right? So they need the host organism to survive. And the host organism is usually harmed by them. Because so like let's say it's a mosquito. We get bit, it's itchy, it's not fun. Depending on if the mosquito has a disease, we could get that disease, all kinds of things like that. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys about 3 minutes, finish up these ones, and then turn them in, and then we're going to go on to our next set of notes. We're going to try and finish the 2 that we have left today. Hopefully we can. If not, we'll finish up one tomorrow. Or maybe I'll give it to you guys to just do on your own. Because I think you guys have time. Okay?
Can I get started on that other one now that I'm done?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. The next one I think is nutrient cycling. Right? Let's see what posted. Nutrient cycling, yep. There's 2 more that we're going to do. But nutrient cycling will be the next one we work on. And yes, Elijah, we do kill parasites, yes. When we kill mosquitoes and ticks and fleas and stuff, those are parasites.
What are parasites?
Parasites are the things that, like, suck your blood and stuff. It's the organism in a parasitic relationship that benefits. Okay? Yes, you guys can start on the other one. I'm going to get it all pulled up as well. So in Google Classroom, the next one we're going to work on is the nutrient cycling notes. So you can open up the Google slide and you can open the Google Doc. I think both of these are decently short. 1 page or so. I'm going to give you about,
Wait, are there supposed to be 2 other sets of notes?
yes, there's
Others-
2 more. One of them is nutrient cycling and the other one is oxygen and carbon cycling, right? So we're going to do nutrient cycling first. So nutrient cycling. I'm going to wait about 1 minute while you guys get that opened up. I know some of you guys are already there, but I'm still going to wait a minute and then I'll start get on that one. How many slides do we have here? 6. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get going on this one. So nutrient cycling, our first slide. First off, a nutrient is something, oh, it says it right there. Nutrients are vital to living things, and it's constantly cycling through the environment. So nutrients are things like water, oxygen, carbon dioxide, iron, all the little like things that we need as humans or animals need to survive. So nutrients are good for the environment. So nutrients and other substances vital to living things are constantly cycling in the environment. And if it's cycling, it means it's going into the environment, out of the environment, back in, back out, back in. It just kind of goes in a circular motion of being useful and then being recycled back into the environment. Okay, so the cycling of nutrients is important because if they are stagnant, stagnant means that they're standstill, they don't move. If these nutrients are not cycling, these living things are not going to survive. So we need water, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. They're essential to living things. They cycle or they move between living things and then between other living things. Sometimes they go into non-living things, but they just cycle in and out of when and where we need them, like a circular motion. Okay, I'll give you about a minute on these ones. I might go a little quick on these, and that's okay if you fall behind. You'll be able to be copy and pasting as I talk, or after the lesson finishes if you need to. Alrighty. For our next slide, water. Water is super important to us as living things. We need water to survive. You must drink water, or you're just not going to make it. Got to drink water. But so do plants and animals. They need water as well. So water is important to all living things. Plants need water to make the food, to support the substances that are inside them, and to maintain their structure. Animals need water to transport substances inside of them, to digest their food, and for reactions that keep an animal alive. And then finally, water cycles, so it moves between plants and animals, as well as through the atmosphere, the hydrosphere, and the geosphere. Um, those three things, the air, the bodies of water, and the ground, are the water cycle, where it's like precipitation, rain, evaporation, all of those, there's a water cycle, right? So we need water to be moving through the environment in order for us as humans to survive, as well as the plants and animals that need the water as well. It's one of the most important nutrients that we have, water. Okay, a couple minutes for this one. Okay, about one more minute, and then we'll look at the next slide. Alrighty, next cycle, still water. The next part of the water cycle, animals take in water from lakes and rivers and streams. So they drink. Sorry, that was my dog. They drink the water. Then they excrete or release. So they like the waste, like poop and pee. They excrete the excess water, so the extra water, which then collects in the non-living part of the environment, such as the lakes, the rivers, and the soil. So if you think of cow poop, basically, that's manure, which then we use to use as soil for plants that help them grow. So the water cycle is important because it still goes through and gives you different nutrients as well, things that are good for growing plants and stuff. Okay. Another minute or so on this one.
Miss Jones, I'm gonna have to go now. I'm going to go get my shots.
Okay, sounds good, Yoshi. I'll see you tomorrow. The slides are missing information. Okay, well, if it doesn't line up, then fill out what you can. What part is missing? Like some of the water stuff. The last part of water cycling. Okay, then just skip the section that's not there. I don't know where it would be. Maybe it just didn't make it into the slides like it was supposed to. So just skip that part of the sections. Okay? All right.
What part of the sections?
I guess there's a part of water cycling that's not there. So just skip that part of water cycling. And yes, Alex, you can move on to the next set of notes.
Okay.
All
So I
right. So
don't
I'm
know,
gonna.
there's not another page for water cycling, so I was just
Yeah.
really looking for that.
Yeah, it must have gotten deleted or something, but that's okay. So just skip that section that's not there and just go on to the oxygen part. I'm going to go over this last part of water cycling that is there. So this one talks about plants. So plants take in water from the soil. They use this water for photosynthesis. They lose some of the water through tiny openings in their leaves, and then this water evaporates and becomes part of the non-living parts of the environment, such as the atmosphere. So that's part of the water cycle, the evaporation of water, and then it'll go up into the clouds, and then it'll rain, and you'll get precipitation. So that's probably where the next slide was going, but that's okay.
Can you go to the part where you, like where the plants takes in water? Because I can't find a spot for that.
It might not
Can
be
you show
there.
me where it is?
Is it? I think it's right here. Plants take in water. They use the water for photosynthesis. Does that help?
Yeah.
Miss Jones,
Yes, Skylar.
my dog scratched me. It was a really deep scratch.
That's not good.
It hurts still.
Yeah, that
You might see it tomorrow on my
probably.
left hand.
You usually need to clean it if a cat scratches you, you need to clean it.
That is true.
I don't do that.
Why do you need to clean it?
Okay, let's look at our last part. It seems like some of the carbon stuff is missing as well, so just skip that part as well. So we're only going to talk about the oxygen cycling, and then we'll be done with this set. So you can skip the carbon part. Sound good?
So I'm done.
If you've done the oxygen part, yep. So
Okay.
oxygen cycling through the environment. This one says that animals and us as humans cannot live without oxygen. They need it along with the food that they get to perform cellular respiration. In cellular respiration, animals use oxygen to break down food and make energy. So we need plants because they produce oxygen, and then we breathe in the oxygen. We need it, right? So they release oxygen, we breathe it in, and then we actually breathe out carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide helps the plants. Okay, so go ahead and take a few minutes to finish those ones up. Once you finish, you can turn them in, and I'm going to give you guys about 4 minutes or so, and we're going to do that last set of notes. Even if it goes past 1:30, we're going to finish them up because
I'm done.
it shouldn't take too
Wait,
long.
so we skip the part that says we skip carbon dioxide cycling.
Yep, so I'm going to highlight the parts that you're going to skip. So you'll skip the carbon dioxide cycling, and then you also will skip the last 3 bullet points of the water cycle. Those parts are not in the slides, so you don't need to do those ones. Okay? I don't know what happened to them or where they went, but that's all right.
Miss Jones.
Yes, Charlie.
Now what do I do?
Wait for us to go on to the next one. Be patient, please.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we're going to wait about 3 minutes. You guys can turn these in as you finish, and then after those 3 minutes, we're going to do that last set of notes there. Theodore. Theo. Bob. Thank you. Oh, the answers are on the next one. Oxygen, carbon, and oxygen. I think, though, we have a separate set of notes that'll go for that one. Yeah. So the so you are correct, Elijah. These notes are probably on the next one, the next set of notes, but we have a separate note sheet that has all of them in one. So when you're done, you can get the first one turned in, and then we'll have our second, or I guess it's our third set of notes for the day that'll correspond to the third PowerPoint for the day.
Can we turn it in now?
Yep, once you're done, you can get it turned in. I'm going to wait about 2 more minutes for you guys to finish that up and get it turned in. And then we'll do that last one.
We already did the first one.
Okay, good. Then it'll be easy to remember. Copy and paste over. All right, I'm going to start getting the other ones pulled up. So I'm going to close out of the notes for the other one. And close out of that PowerPoint. And then on Google Classroom, we have one last new set of notes, right? It's called Oxygen and Carbon Dioxide Cycling Notes. So this one, we're going to talk about how carbon dioxide and oxygen flow throughout ecosystems, and they go in another circular type of pattern. So you can open up that set of Google Slides as well as the notes. I already have both of them open, actually. So the notes are very similar to the other one, basically. I think they kind of overlapped a little bit, but that's all right. We're going to do this PowerPoint with the notes that go with it. Only 3 slides. Hopefully we can finish it up by 1:30. If we go a little bit past 1:30, I'd like you guys to stay and finish that up with me, and then you'll be able to head out. I know that the people in person don't have anywhere to be because they have to stay for class anyway. Those of you online, hopefully you can stay about 5 minutes past. Okay. Once you have both open, just let me know, and I'm going to get going in about a minute. So our new set of notes, once you have it open, let me know, please.
I'm there.
Good. Thank you.
I'm there.
Awesome. You can just type it in the chat if you want to as well. Just, I'm there, done, we're good, something. Cool. Good.
I'm there.
All right. Okay. Seems like you guys are getting there. So I'm going to go ahead and get going so that we don't go too far over. Again, copy and pasting from the notes, please, and thank you. So, I'm pretty sure this slide is the same. Oxygen cycling. Again, animals cannot live without oxygen, neither can we as humans. We need it along with food to perform cellular respiration. So that means that our cells take in the oxygen and do what they're supposed to do, and we move on. In cellular respiration, animals use the oxygen to break down food and it makes it into energy. Same with humans. We breathe in the oxygen. It breaks down food for us, or helps. It's part of the process of breaking down food, and it creates the energy that we use to get throughout our day. And we know that plants produce the oxygen. They release oxygen into the environment. Animals then take it in, or humans, and then we breathe out carbon dioxide. So it's a cycle, this circular motion. Plants create O2, which is oxygen. Animals breathe it in. Then the animals breathe out carbon dioxide because we've used up all the oxygen in our bodies, and the plants then take in the carbon dioxide so that they can create more oxygen. That's essentially how it goes. A nice circular pattern there. Okay, I'm going to give you about 1 minute to get this part typed out.
Miss Jones, this next one is kind of weird because you have to write down carbon dioxide and then it like says it again. So it's kind of like you don't have to write it in.
Oh,
Just look at it, see? Oh wait, never mind.
I know what you mean though. Okay. About 30 more seconds on the oxygen cycling one, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to our carbon dioxide one. Alrighty.
I'm done.
So-
Do I turn it in?
If you're done, you may turn it in, yes. So
Okay.
carbon dioxide cycling. This one talks about plants. Plants require carbon dioxide. So it's a type of, it's a chemical, right? Carbon dioxide is a chemical. They use it to make food with a process called photosynthesis. Animals release the carbon dioxide into the environment. The plants take in the carbon dioxide and use it to perform that photosynthesis. And then we know that the plants will release the oxygen, which we take in. We breathe out the carbon dioxide, which the plants take in. So it's just circle after circle after circle.
Go on.
Okay?
Go on, I'm doing work.
Miss Jones, I think
Yes,
it's already
Charlie.
done.
Yes, we're done after this, but please stay on until the end, okay?
Okay. I was
Alright.
gonna do it anyways, but
We are almost done. One more slide after this one, so I'm going to give you guys about 1 minute to do this one really quick. Alright. And finally, our last slide here. Oxygen and carbon dioxide, so how they work together. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are constantly cycling between plants and animals and humans. Technically, we're considered part of the animals that they're talking about here. Plants need carbon dioxide and animals need oxygen. So animals use the oxygen that's produced by the plants, and then the plants use the carbon dioxide that's produced by the animals. So we need each other. We have a what kind of a mutualistic relationship, right? Plants and animals have a mutualism type of ecological relationship because they both benefit. They both need something from each other. The plants need carbon dioxide from us, and then we need the oxygen from the plants. So if we suddenly cut down all the trees and all the plants were gone, we would have no oxygen, and we as humans would not be able to survive without oxygen. So we need these plants to survive. Okay? That is our
save the
last.
trees.
Say that again?
Save the trees.
Yes, we need to save trees, that's for sure. Once you are done getting those things typed in, you don't need to label the diagram, that's okay. But make sure you get all those blanks filled out and you can turn it in when you're done. That's basically it for the day. So we did finish by 1:30. I will be back at work tomorrow. I feel much better after the day is going on. So I will be back at work tomorrow.